welcome back to the Dwelling with God podcast for the 7-day journey through the tabernacle as a pathway of discipleship. Today is day 6, a powerful and emotional step in our spiritual journey. We've passed through the gate, the way. We've surrendered at the altar, the cross. We've washed in the laver, the word. And we've learned the rhythms of the holy place, the truth, and the Holy Spirit, and our personal journey with God. And now we stand before the veil, the life, a barrier that once separated humanity from the very presence of God. Today we explore what the veil represents, the barriers that still block our intimacy with God, and how Jesus has made a way through them. So let's begin. Inside the tabernacle is a thick curtain woven with blue, purple and scarlet threads, hung between the holy place and the Holy of Holies. This was the veil, the life. Behind it rested the Ark of the Covenant, and above the Ark, the manifest presence of God. Only one person, the high priest, could pass through it, and only once a year, and only after intense purification. The veil proclaimed a sobering truth, that humanity was separated from God, not because God was distant, but because sin created distance. The veil represents separation, limitation, holiness, fear, and the sense that God is near, but not fully accessible. It was both beautiful and heartbreaking. Even though the physical veil is gone, many believers still feel separated from God, not physically, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. We experience invisible veils such as, I'm not good enough. What if God is disappointed with me? God can't use me, not after what I've done. I've been hurt too deep to trust again. And it feels safer to live on my own terms. And is God really speaking? Is he really with me? And I want to be close to God, but life keeps pulling me away. These are some of the things that stop us from being in the presence of God. All these act like the veils. They are thin, they're quiet barriers that keep us from stepping fully into the presence of God. But here's the good news. God never intended for these barriers to remain. One of the most powerful moments in the New Testament occurs during the crucifixion of Jesus. Matthew 27:51 says, "The veil of the temple was torn in two, from top to bottom, not by human hands, and not from the bottom to the top, but from heaven downward." You see, God himself ripped the barrier. When Jesus died, he didn't just forgive sin, he removed the separation. So this means that you are not far from God, you are not disqualified, and you are not unworthy. You are not an outsider either. You are welcomed and you are invited. Because of Jesus, the only barriers that remain are the ones that we cling to ourselves. What once blocked us from has been torn open, and the way into intimacy is fully available. See, the step deeper into God's presence, we must be honest about the veils that we still live behind. So these are a few questions that you can ask yourself. Why am I afraid that God will see in me? What shame have I not surrendered? What wound still shapes my heart? And what sin do I avoid confessing? And why do I hesitate to draw near? Naming the veil is the first step to tearing it down. And here's the good news. You don't have to tear it yourself. The veil, the life, teaches us this. Intimacy with God is not achieved, it is received. You simply come boldly, honestly, humbly, as you are. Talk to God honestly and say, Lord, this is what keeps me distant. This is what I'm afraid of. And this is the lie that I still believe. Honesty is not weakness, it's worship. And the veil is already torn. You don't earn access, you don't prove access, and you don't maintain access. You have access because Christ made the way. So take a moment in stillness and breathe and invite God close. Let his love quiet your fear. Let his truth silence your shame. And let his presence heal your wounds. Step into the Holy of Holies with confidence. So thank you for joining me today on day 6 of dwelling with God. Today we stood before the veil, the life, the symbolic barrier between us and the presence of God, and celebrated the truth that Jesus tore the barrier completely. Tomorrow is day 7 and it's our final podcast, and we will step into the Holy of Holies itself, the place where God's presence rests and where disciples learn to live from intimacy, identity and purpose. So until then, may every vow in your heart be surrendered to God, to the one who tore the veil for you. God is drawing you in.